This is really low tech. You have only a few years of college to get this right. And if you see that when it drains off, it is funny. You'll mix sometimes, you just don't have enough, and immediately you'll see that black stick shine through, or even a wood mixing stick. And you'll know that that'll expose your edges and stuff. Now, we already tried to mix as close as we could. This is just a quick test just to make sure we poured enough in there. So, and a lot of times I'm mixing little tiny accents. They don't really need the block color, but it needs to be a little cup of white, a little cup of copper to pour. And I just want to make sure you're not going to see through it or something. So that little stick test is very adequate for accent colors. If it's a larger mix, always measure and just know I'm mixing 2 gallons with one of these pigments or something. So, say what? We're back. Did we lose them all?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sorry, guys. We lost you there for a minute. I think we have spotty Wi-Fi, or we're the spotty part of the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is probably perfect. We're not. Na, 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 na. About to pour white marble. I'm like guessing right now. I'm like looking at that and I'm like, all right, because I didn't have a tape measure on me. So I'm like, that is 2, 4, 6, 8 square feet. I should have about a little more than this. This will be a little thin. This will be a little thin. This will be a little thin for that. I was just doing the math in my head based on my eyes measuring that. This will be a little thinner than I wish, but it's going to be, we'll make it work. Thanks to B&Q for being a lame hardware store. So China doesn't own it, so they can't. This is TikTok, so only I can't talk crap about Walmart or anything American, I mean Chinese companies. I think they only own America. I don't know if they own you guys. I think everything in my country is Chinese made. Even Harley Davidsons, they're like, assembled in America, made by an 8-year-old in China, so sorry. Yeah, everything now is assembled in America. Just so you guys know, all of my products are actually fully manufactured, everything sourced in America. So, and that wasn't to try to be American, that was just for quality issues, so. I have gotten counseled by somebody in one of those Chinese operating rooms more than maybe 11 times. So they don't like, usually they don't like what I say on TikTok, so I'll try to be filtered today. Make sure you have a pretty clean area because we're about to start pouring here. So make sure you have a pretty cleaned off area. Usually there'll be a little bit of a mess around everybody's pour. You can barely feel it's starting to get warm, but not hot. But it's probably like 75, 80 degrees. That reaction will keep going, and it'll just get a little faster and a little faster. We'd probably have 20 more minutes in our cup if we had to, but that's only because we started so cold in here. If we were hotter, we'd have less time in here. So.
Could you keep the solution warm at night? That help?
We always just want to be really consistent. So I always try to start about 70 degrees. I'm going to try to figure 70 degrees converted to Celsius. Stop trying to give you stupid America. I'm sorry my country tried to do everything different. 20 something, right? Is that 21 degrees converted to Celsius? Yeah, that's 69.8. So yeah, so right about 21, 22, 23, somewhere in there. And now a lot of times at home, I probably pour like 25 degrees, about 80 degrees, 85 degrees. And my product itself, I let this get warmer and warmer. Like if I'm pouring a huge job, I mix for about 10 total minutes and I make sure it's really thorough and I pour it out because I want this to still be like 75 degrees. I don't want any additional heat because like I just poured it, it would have been about probably 25 square meters, about a 25 square meter job myself. And I did it all by myself. It was all countertops. And I mixed 4 gallons at a time in a 5-gallon pail with a drill, nice and slow. Took me about 10 to 15 minutes every single mix, but you're able to pour out, that would be 60 square feet, so about 8 square meters, 6 to 8 square meters per pour. And so I was able to just keep mixing, and I just kept pouring and mixing my white, and I got every single batch out. I think it was like 5 different batches I poured out and spread. Then I went back and I mixed 1 accent color, and I poured all my black accent into every single countertop. And then I went and got my charcoal and a gold spray, and I sprayed all my charcoal into everything, and then all my gold into everything. And because I'd poured every single batch started out at about 70 degrees. I'd mixed every batch for 10 to 15 minutes, so it was really controlled, low temperatures. So I had about 3 hours of working time on everything in the house. So I had a very easy 3-hour work time on that. I had more time than I ever needed. I was stressed at first running because I didn't have any helper. And at the end, it was just a friend's house. And at the end, I was waiting and just sitting waiting for it to stop dripping, and which was really nice. But that's only because I watched my temperature. If I'd have poured one batch really hot, I'd have had a part of my countertop hardening when nothing else hardened. So yeah, just be watching that. Anybody hear me and just think I'm speaking Chinese or something totally foreign? You guys can't understand me at all?
No, we understand.
Okay. I told a Scottish guy to speak English last time I was here. He didn't think it was as funny as I did. I love your guys' accents, by the way, so way cooler than ours. And you guys are so polite. So really friendly people. I like that. Get help finding my Airbnb on the street, and I didn't get robbed. So.
Maybe about 10 years ago, you wouldn't want to come to Bristol, would you?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Was this a lot different back then, or?
Oh, yeah.
Right. What's that?
Crime capital.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right here.
Always had the reputation for that.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, lots of gangs and shootings.
I got you.
That's all right.
Now just stabbings.
Yeah.
I'm way more afraid to get stabbed than shot like that. I'm not. I did just enough training with a knife to be like, I'm never doing that with anybody ever. So they say the person that bleeds least wins.
Yeah.
So I'd have been a crappy Roman soldier. I don't like cuts. I don't want to get stabbed.
I think when you go paintballing, you realise that it's not cut out to be as easy as it looks or
When a lead paintball flies at you, you start thinking that it's not as fun as the posters. All right, guys. I think you guys are about ready. Be organized. Make sure your pieces in the center. You're not pouring onto your keys or your brush. Each table should have at least one brush. Just share them around. You don't each need a brush because you'll get it dirty in 1 square foot and you won't use it hardly anymore. So go ahead and try to be as equal as you can. And remember, you got to pour all 4 tiles. And we're not trying to save product, so pour it all if you want to.
Are you using this for anything other than mixing?
I would just clean it off and get it ready for the next mix. So the mixing sticks, we'll keep cleaning them off and saving them. Now back home, you guys will see a lot of my lives, and on job sites, I do switch cups, and I'll usually switch my containers prior to the end of my mix, and I'll mix for an additional few minutes. And I just do that so there's no sticky spots, and I'll go over that more later, but here we're just doing a single cup mix. And I always use foam rollers. I feel like it's the only lint-free roller is foam. Every other roller will have lint in it.
Depends if it's a B&Q one.
All right. I've never seen, epoxy's so sticky, it takes lint out of lint-free everything, it seems like. Do you have a good lint-free roller that's actually still fuzz?
I think so. I think you spend your money, don't you?
I've bought about the fanciest ones I could buy in America, and foam is just, for me, for epoxy, I love foam. So it's just guaranteed. Because really, you remember, you don't really want the epoxy even to soak into this. You're really just spreading it. So, and if you
This will be self-leveling, right?
very yes, especially if it's put on thick enough.
If the floor's not level, will that affect it?
It also has surface tension, so it wants to be level, but only if it's way too thick. It also wants to bond to the shape of the object a little bit as well. So within reason, if you're, say, like in a meter, you have like 4 millimeters or something, I wouldn't worry about that, like a little bit of on. You don't have to be level. You just want to be pretty flat, and if it's too much, of course, you're going to start seeing flow. So.
Because I was just thinking, if you're doing a counter or something, you'd basically probably put a straight level on there just to see if it's...
Yeah, if you're building it, it's good too. But if it's already existing, a lot of times the beauty of this is you really can come into some not perfect countertops and really fix them up pretty nicely. And if they're not perfectly level, I was in a really unlevel countertop not long ago. It was for a class, and it was so uneven to the back. I don't tape my edges because if you see how well this is sticking, all the cheap companies tell you to tape their edges because they want their epoxy just to be so hot that when it flows over the edge, it can't flow anymore. And you can really coat these nicely. So.
Do you ever use the tape over the edge, or you
Hardly ever. The only reason I use it is to level stuff. And like I was going to say, the other day, it was so bad I leveled it.
And I wondered, yeah, it was,
I only do it for leveling purposes. So if you notice, this is way thicker than normal, probably what you're used to working with too. So
One question, Lever, I found sometimes is on the really sharp edges, it gets very thin.
it can.
Yeah, and you're trying to dip. Is there a way around that? Or?
I always try to just make sure I have a really good coverage and that my edges aren't too sharp or too sharp at corners. And I think on here, it should be just fine. I'm really careful when I'm torching because I know I torch to level, but you don't want to warm it up so much that it levels off of the piece. And I see a lot of people, we over torch our edges. It's easy to. And oh, you're good. And now if you notice, I'm not just rolling for color. Now I'm really wanting this to be very even, very level. I don't want any heavy spots, light spots. It will self-level, but you don't want to pile here to try to self-level all the way to the other end. So just cross-rolling it a bit.
It doesn't matter if you're doing vertical or...
It does, and this is definitely, it'll do like small verticals, an edge or a backsplash, like a small splashback or whatever, but it's not going to do a large one. We have a tub and sink coating, if you want to go a little higher, that has a different surface tension additive in it that will stay more vertical for like a tub, but then we have a wall epoxy if we're really just troweling a wall or something, and that's more like Venetian, but you can do it in wet areas, a shower or anything, and it's not going to damage it. So
you meant the direction you put it on.
Oh, I did.
yeah, no. Oh, I'm just grabbing my torch, sorry.
Oh, sorry, yeah, it was just the way
Now I don't want to over torch this, but I do want a nice light torching on it. So as soon as you guys get done spreading your product, you'll borrow this torch and you'll just torch it nice and evenly, making sure you're not stopping. You can burn any color, especially much easier when it's wet epoxy still. It becomes more color stable and harder to burn once it cures. So, but you don't have any of those attributes when it's sitting there wet. So just roll out your product, make sure it's brushed out nice and evenly. Try to get your tile kind of leveled on your container. And let's get that out of the containers and spread, and then we'll torch them, and then we'll add accent colors. That'll be the fun part. What's that? Yeah, mine was like so cold I gave up.
So I haven't added any accent
I
colors.
was like, yeah, I would just.
Just keep going.
Is it even warm at all? No.
Feel it.
No. Man, I've seen worse. We're in a little bit of a cold room, and I'm being impatient, so. It's such a quiet classroom, I don't know if I want to sit here for 30 minutes. At least in our building, we send you off to go walk around and see pretty things while you. I don't know what to have people do, so we'll just
I'm gonna
pour.
add some metallic to this when you guys are.
Huh?
Somebody needed to twerk.
The charcoal is, or black, like powder, is much better than liquid if we're trying to get it hot. Yeah, that's smart.
Oh, it's nice consistency. You haven't got enough, it's okay just to pour more on, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, don't be afraid to pour it all out. Most people don't think it has to be as thick as you want it. You want plenty of material. I'm not worried about wasting. Quite a bit more down. Thicker, yeah, quite a bit more. I think you guys can all go way heavier. I think a lot of you guys are really light. Like, this is okay if that's paint, but remember, you're trying to put a coating down, and a lot of times we might be pouring over like pretty bad surfaces. So just put a nice layer on that. Yeah, I'd pour quite a bit, twice as much at least. And don't worry, everything in the cup's gonna go in the trash anyways. So pour as much as you need, and we'll throw the rest out.
Hey guys.
That was so smart of you.
Oh man. Okay, so this is our charcoal metallic powder. Everything again we're using today is our FX Black Label Countertop Epoxy.
They said it was like greeny, but the more you mix it,
Yeah,
smooth.
yeah.
Yeah.
The more you mix. Again, usually this is a bit warmer, but oh my gosh, it's so cold. We'll see what we can get out of this.
We unmiked you. That was my fault. Oh, okay. You guys are smart. I didn't think about that. Oh, I guess I can plug it in.
I'll see what he thinks about this temperature. What do you think about this? Probably roughly 75.
What preference would you for
Laminate countertops, generally make sure anything that's laminated is truly laminated and it's not like unbonding. So if there is any unstuck areas, either fully remove them or rebond them. And generally what I do, I wipe them down with acetone, even better than sanding. I will often sand against any silicone, like sealed backsplash corners and stuff like that, just because I want all the silicone out and I want to epoxy really clean on that top edge. But aside from just cleaning them really good using a sanding block and acetone, I generally don't do a whole lot else. So just pour them, and it's probably one of our more common pours. We do a lot of tile. We pour over a lot of tile. Of course, that's something we'll go over in class with, where we put a non-sag epoxy down first, level everything, and then the other way is, of course, pouring.
Do you want me to just start bringing this out? I don't care.
It's nothing we can. I mean, there's still powder cooling around, so you might have a minute or two, but might have sprays first.
Oh yeah.
If I can get these gloves on, it's my biggest struggle.
I know. Did we ever see if is there a better story? There's not.
They said screw fix?
Oh.
Screw fix? Screw fix direct. Oh, yes, sir. Yeah. Here's the torch, guys, to borrow. So just make sure you don't hit the plastic. You don't want to melt the plastic next to it. Just hit the top. So. Cutting my straw a little bit shorter because it was getting clogged down in the gold. I have a lot of powder in this container. This is 99% isopropyl mixed with our gold colored mica powder. And I'm just trimming this little like suction straw a little shorter so it's not stuck in the powder in the bottom. Then I can just shake it up and Don, those are little bubbles, but I haven't really tried to get all the bubbles out yet. I'm just I know this is difficult with this small of a sample, guys, to not just saturate it in gold, but really try to have like a very small percentage of your piece with just a little bit of gold. It's more for fun, so you can have a little rust in it or something that's not perfect, but you could even practice spraying it at the trash can if you want to, get your pattern and then spritz it out, but whatever you want. Make sure it's after the torch because that is alcohol and that's flammable, so we never want to mix the two.
Put some more stuff on top.
Oh, you'll be fine. Just don't burn it. You'll be fine. You'll be good.
Do you want to keep the collar on?
Yeah. Here you are. You get right on it, and I'll let you do it because you'll be better than anybody in here. It is pretty powerful, but you're good to be right on it. So
this is drying it and taking bubbles out.
yeah, it's not drying it. It's just popping air bubbles and helping it level. Yeah. And once you see that it's leveled, there's no reason to torch beyond that. So once you just quick pass over the top of it. We're probably ready, Michael. I'll start up here or something.
What do you do? How to cover the edges like these corners? Because this is getting exposed.
Is it getting exposed? You might need a little more white pigment in yours, or yeah. On a countertop, I probably would have been a little more rounded on that, something like that, because these are just tiles for samples. I probably would make it a little eased, just how the tops are eased like that. I try to always take care of any hard corners like that, so which I didn't do it in here. And if you notice one thing, That's a pretty lightly pigmented, that's a pretty lightly pigmented mix. Like I can see through there real easily. So there probably wasn't a lot of white pigment in here.
That's really
So yeah, so. This is Countertop Epoxy from countertopepoxy.com, and this is one of our countertop classes. So we have people in, so.
On the ground there, I don't know.
Oh, you did some on the ground?
Let me know if
Okay,
you
no,
get it.
that's fine.
Or if you don't like it, down there.
Is that all of it?
No, you want more?
Do you have any more?
I do have more, yeah.
Or is there any more else out there? Maybe another corner is all. All right, so this is kind of goofy, but I'm going to try to just make one larger vein across my piece, and then I'm going to start trying to get pretty small and intricate and the biggest thing I notice people have the hardest time doing right now is making small veins because everybody wants to pour so much epoxy that they ruin their piece, in my opinion. So people have fun doing these. I do want a few really small veins like this, and I'm going to show you what to do with them. See how this looks kind of messy down here? Don't worry about that. I'm going to show you something to do. So don't be afraid if your samples don't turn out right. If it gets onto a bigger piece, I want to show you how you can drizzle a couple quick little veins across this. We'll let it set, and we're going to torch it really quick. We're going to spray it with a little bit of alcohol, and it'll totally change what these veins look like. So just remember the process, and try to keep everything really straight. You're not going to see in a rock, this is a piece of white marble, you're not going to see a lot of curves and twists and stuff. It's going to be really hard fractures and right angles and stuff like that. So be a little artsy, and even if you have too many veins, just practice really small veins on your piece and trying to be artistic with it. So you guys are welcome to do that now if you want. I'm just going to finish a few more here. Be as patient as you want. This product right here is actually really like flowing a lot compared to what I'm used to. I like to let this stuff, this probably got like 80 degrees. I let it get about 115, 120. We pour it back out. And then you have really stringy product that you can make really like decorative angles and stuff with. So don't be afraid to work with this just because it's maybe harder than what you're used to. So go ahead if you guys want to and go.
This is where you need a steady hand, isn't it?
A little bit.
Gotta get the shape.
Yeah, a little bit.
What do we do with our brushes? Do we clean them or?
No, you don't need to clean them, and you can use your stick or your brush to do this part right here. And just try to take your time, and let's get some pretty decorative veins going down. Take your time on it, though. I'm okay, dude. I think I'm gonna quit.
Okay.
Just want these to come off that end. There we are. Yeah, I'm not gonna keep adding. And let's take our mixing sticks and we'll clean them up. I know that'll take us a little bit to do, but we'll clean our mixing sticks up. And we can reuse these. Oh, some of those are looking pretty good. Remember, nice and straight. Make sure it goes all the way from one side off the other side. No little turnarounds, no little U-turns. It's looking really good, guys.
It's my first time.
That's actually good already. Don't worry about it. Remember, smaller is better. Little straight veins all the way across. This kid's doing good. Jack Willis is doing just fine. Who's Jack Willis? You don't know. Well, you're doing a good job representing Jack Willis. Well, your dad's an artist. But you've been doing this for a while. I like it, though. I like it.
Okay.
Let's be kind of thoughtful, guys. I'm touching all the torch and everything, and there's a lot of epoxy on it. So I know some of you guys are just wandering around little disasters with stuff all over your hands, and it's okay in here, but imagine in a customer's house. And then you grab the curtains and stuff like that, right? So start cleaning those hands up, replace those gloves, clean your tools up. It sucks to buy a new torch every morning, too. Yeah, take your time cleaning yourselves up before you touch the tools, guys. Pennsylvania. We have not had a class in Pennsylvania, but if we had a good spot, that's central enough we would do it. But we would need to have a home or a classroom where we could accommodate up to 30 people probably. So if you know of something like that, we'd love to help you. Now I'm gonna kind of mess with my top here, and I'm gonna kind of manipulate my veins. Just a quick torching. Now see how they look just kind of straight, and it looks like I just poured them out. And usually they're really fractured, hard to see, like they dip under the surface. In a real piece of white marble, they're not just straight like this. No, I want this to be speckles, not a mist. I need it to be large droplets. And if you notice, the droplets are going to land at different areas, and it's really going to break and push around those veins. And then it'll self-level back in place, but it'll leave a really nice pattern. If I was to spray a mist, it wouldn't do this. It wouldn't be droplets, so I have to spray really carefully here, because I want it to be large drops hitting this. And I'll just keep going and going until I get the pattern I like. You're not in any hurry. I always say that, but maybe you guys are in a hurry. I don't know. See how that's breaking them there? Do you guys see what we're trying to get out of that? You can keep doing that until they almost kind of disappear into the surface a little. Now, of course, I would not want to touch this with a torch because I have a lot of alcohol down, right? So this is very flammable now, so be really thoughtful. See how it's...
9.9%.
Yeah, this is 99% alcohol. Buy it at like, we got it at a Nails, JK Nails. They were just kidding. No, he wasn't joking around. He wanted to know a lot about, I had to give a blood sample. He was like, what company are you with? I was like, Damacoat. He's like, that doesn't sound like shit to me. So that's what he looked like. I was like, I promise, I have a company. Then he wants to know a number. You start getting him a number. He's like, I don't need that number. So I was like, trying not to get arrested here, sir. So yeah, do you see how it takes these really straight veins here and what it does to them? Now I'm going to spray these without any alcohol or without any torch. There's one little air bubble I need to take care of by hand. See how you don't necessarily, everybody wants to use a torch because a torch is fun, but do you see how you don't always need a torch near as much as people think? Because see what it just did to these? A piece of stone now, right? With the gold and the... All right, so now take your table, and again, try to be clean, only because you're going to be passing this around. I get annoyed when I have to go home every day after class and replace a brand new torch head for $50. All my bottles are like stuck together. None of the tops will unscrew. So try to clean your little dirty hands, and if you have a dirty tool, clean it up. It's all of our tools. Don't pay me back for the Mayflower. I wasn't on it. Sorry. Probably none of my ancestors either. Oh, yeah. Have at it, guys. Remember not to mix the torch and the alcohol. Yeah, as long as there's no fires, we're all happy in here. Yeah, and if there's a fire, just let me come and help you, and it won't be a big deal. Don't panic about it.
So it has to be 99% alcohol.
Yeah, anything that's not has too much water, and you're putting a lot of water on the surface. Yeah, thank you for that question. Yeah, just remember, anything that's not 99% alcohol or the closest to 100, it's always, the other part's always water. So you wouldn't want to put, say 70% would be 30% water. That'd be a lot of water to spray on the top, and it would leave big dents and fish eyes and stuff.
So see that says acetone, I take it that's...
Oh, that is acetone. Now, I have a bottle of acetone up here. This is different. And this is just for something, I cleaned this, but everything else is the isopropyl, though the gallons. And they do have a lot of it at JK Nails. They have like 50 gallons on the shelves. Yeah, or you can order it. Hey, didn't they say you could order at BK? Or Amazon, probably. Yeah, you guys all order off of Amazon, right? Does everybody in here shop on Amazon?
Yeah.
Remember, that was one of our things last time. Yeah. Remember, try to really get like as large a drops as possible. So stand back a little and yeah, just play with it, guys. I think the cop did the bet. Like, what the hell? You're a cop last? Was your last job? That's pretty good. You were. I can tell you weren't thinking about your job. You were thinking about art. Yes. Oh, yes, sir. Anything you need, sir. Remember, on job sites, you'll be standing way back because you'll be spraying for like patterns on pretty big pieces. So don't ever be afraid. A lot of people get really close to stuff with their bottle. Don't ever be afraid to stay way back. Pretend you have a long rifle, not just a pistol. What's that? I only if I think I need to. If it's not moving at all. Yeah, see all your alcohol down low? Let that all evaporate. Let that alcohol evaporate, and then you can lightly torch it and then spray again, yeah. Remember, if your veins aren't moving, if it's not doing the effect I got it to do, it's probably because it's a little cool, and you might warm it up with a torch, but make sure there's no alcohol down first. Make sure all the alcohol's evaporated, warm it up with a torch, and then spray it, and it'll break it a lot more. Say what? Oh, we're ready to... This turned out all right. That's so much prettier than it was. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We'll probably go live this afternoon, which I don't know where you're at in the world. We're in the United Kingdom. We're in London today. So we'll probably go live again this afternoon after lunch. I hope you guys had an awesome day. And if you're supposed to be sleeping, go back to sleep. And if not, tune back in and hit that notification bell. And thank you so much for your time. God bless you.